From the Ministry of the Presidency in Georgetown, this is This Week with the President, with Janelle Carter.
Welcome to another edition of This Week with the President, a weekly news magazine which provides you with an in-depth look at the policies, programs, and work of the President of Guyana in his quest to realize the good life for all Guyanese. I'm your host, Janelle Carter. In the news this week, President pushes for legal recourse to both Venezuela and Suriname's border claims. President calls for President's College to take the lead as a science and technology center. And President Brigadier Granger wants less reliance on traditional sectors and more focus on value-added production. In its latest attempt to reinforce its claim over Guyana's territory, Venezuela's ambassador to Ottawa, Canada, issued a warning letter to Guyana Goldfields Incorporated, a Canadian company that is currently operating in the Cuyuni-Mazaruni area. Nevertheless, Guyana has and will continue to utilize the tenets of international law and diplomacy to defend its territory. However, it will not be restricted nor weakened by these tenets in light of spurious claims and intimidating attempts by neighboring Venezuela and Suriname to infringe on the country's sovereignty. The President, His Excellency Brigadier David Granger, reinforced this pledge to the nation as he addressed members of Parliament when the House reconvened on October 22nd.
Guyana today faces threats to its territory which are similar to those that it faced 50 years ago, just as it was about to gain independence for its people. The new state expected to coexist peacefully with its neighbors, to expand its economy, and to enhance its citizens' quality of life. The prospect of peace on its borders and the promise of progress in exploiting its full potential in the hinterland soon faded. Guyana has had to defend itself against armed attempts to seize its territory. It will continue to do so while struggling to preserve peace, while striving to maintain cordial relations, and while acting in compliance with international agreements and conventions.
Venezuela, with total disregard for the arbitral award of 1899, continues to employ the use of force and other forms of undiplomatic strategies in its bid to seize ownership of 2/3 of Guyana's landmass. More recently, Guyana's Dutch neighbor has taken a similar stance with regard to the New River Triangle. Just as the government wants no less than a final juridical solution for the controversy regarding Venezuela, similarly, Guyana is prepared to go the legal route with regard to Suriname's claims.
Guyana, in view of the fact that there is at present a mechanism for addressing this matter, is willing to continue a bilateral discourse with the government of Suriname on the matter of that country's territorial claims. That discourse, however, must be grounded on the principles of mutual respect and the repudiation of the use of force. Guyana has no doubt about the soundness of the bases on which it exercises sovereignty over its territory. It has no fear in having Suriname's claim to its territory resolved by an adjudicatory process.
Guyana fully respects all international treaties and conventions to which it is a party, including the Geneva Agreement, and will continue to work with both Venezuela and Suriname in the interest of peace.
Guyana has never and will never violate any international treaty to which it is party. This country has no intention of displaying aggression towards its neighbors, and it never has. It will continue to work to bring about a peaceful solution to the controversies with Venezuela and Suriname.
The president assured that his administration is ready to work with both Venezuela and the Republic of Suriname to make the region a more peaceful and prosperous place, but not at the expense of the birthright and legal entitlement of Guyanese citizens. The unambiguous role of science and technology in turning the wheels of economic development is fully acknowledged by the government of Guyana. Homegrown engineers, architects, mathematicians, and scientists are the technical experts who will lead the way in transforming the socio-economic landscape of Guyana. The first step in this regard is ensuring that students gravitate towards these areas of study. The President, His Excellency Brigadier David Granger, recently paid a visit to President's College, where he pledged his government's commitment to ensure that nothing is done to reduce the standards of the institution.
I'm interested in high standards, and nothing will be done during my tenure of the presidency to lower the standards of President's College.
While the visit was mainly a fact-finding one, the President said that he wanted to see the school emerge as one of the leaders in a new push towards science, mathematics, and technology.
I would like to see that President's College would take the lead as a college of science and technology, because the poetry is good, the history is good, the drama is good, the sports are good. But we have to open this country. We have to build highways and bridges. We have to build studies. We have to build factories. And to develop this country, you don't only need poetry and history, you also need engineers, you need mathematicians, you need architects, you need scientists. We need to study biology and chemistry and physics and zoology if we are to make use of these abundant resources which God has given us. So, President's College will take the lead, along with other secondary schools, in opening this new chapter of science and technology.
Brigadier Granger carried out a thorough inspection of the operations of the various departments at the school, listened to the concerns of students and staff, and took note of their needs.
I think it was great, a really nice idea for the President to come visit us on Monday. He looked into some issues and stuff, and I think he would be better able to, lend some support and stuff as it relates to getting this college to where it belongs,
I felt the president visit to President's College was nice. It was special. I mean, he made us feel special in a kind of a way. That he's here, he walked around the school, he even socialized a bit, he even had lunch with us. That was so nice, so thoughtful of him. I was literally blown away. It was so nice. I feel proud to be a part of that with him.
Some of the issues raised include invasion by stray cattle, inefficient water supply, pilfering, inadequate transportation, and lack of sufficient funds to facilitate maintenance. He also held a meeting with the school's senior staff to discuss ways in which the government can assist to resuscitate the institution.
For me, the needs of the college are specifically with regards to infrastructure. We have need for rehabilitation works in our food service department, our dormitories, and our play field. Those are critical areas. We have other areas that might not be deemed as critical, but they're part of our plan, because I have a 5-year plan that focuses on most of the needs of the college, ranging over a 5-year period. But if I'm to prioritize, I would give priority to the food service department, the dormitories, and the play field, because those are critical right now.
The resources is really scarce, and whatever we have, some of them are outdated too. Modern sewing machines, whiteboards that we use, special software in clothing and textile. We don't have access to that. Right now, as I speak, the internet is just around this area. But if you walk down there to the home ec department, there is nothing there, right? So resources is one of the big things that the president, the ministry, they need to focus on.
I wanted to inform myself about the conditions at this college. I think it's a very important part of our education system. And I want to assure Guyanese that not only President's College, but all of the secondary schools are performing at their optimum, at their highest level. I had an encounter and engagement with the members of the staff, and they raised issues. And I will then go to a meeting with the Minister of Education and, of course, with other officials to see how best some of these issues could be met. It's important that we raise standards throughout the country, and we want to assure parents and the students themselves here that we will provide, within the limit of our resources, the best possible facilities to enable them to achieve high standards, high academic standards.
President's College was established in 1985 by former President, the late Forbes Burnham, as an education institution of quality. The school now caters to the needs of some 600 students, with dormitory facilities to accommodate students from 10 administrative regions. For years, the local economy has been solely dependent on the traditional sectors: gold, diamond, rice, sugar, timber, and bauxite. And this dependency has made the economy vulnerable to external shocks, since the traditional sectors continue to be affected by commodity prices on the world market.
We're going to suffer from the fluctuations which have always affect commodity prices. Gold prices are down. There's nothing that the Guyana government can do to maintain gold prices at the levels that they were 2 years ago. So all we can think of, quite frankly, is restructuring the economy in the middle and the long terms.
In an effort to mitigate this vulnerability, the government is looking to invest more in the area of value-added manufacturing and agro-processing.
Instead of trying to export a boatload of cassava or plantain, let us get into plantain chips, let's get into cassava chips, let's get into breadfruit chips, let's get into fruit juices. Instead of exporting huge pontoons of timber, let us start producing veneers and floors and doors and windows, famous Demerara windows. Instead of people smuggling gold out of the country by the pound, to Curacao and Suriname, let us start to produce some of the finest jewelry on the continent. Let us export some of the gems and so on. But we need to have the type of economy guided by entrepreneurs, not just traders, guided by entrepreneurs who invest in downstream products.
The head of state also responded to criticisms from certain sections of society that the economy has slowed down under the new administration.
It is very difficult to accept that the economy slowed down in 5 months. The economy was slowed down before.
According to the recently released mid-year report, Guyana's economy has been suffering largely due to the falling global commodity prices and the loss of preferential markets. However, the outlook for the remainder of the year remains positive. Thanks for staying with us. What does the president do all week? Let's take a look inside his diary. During the week, the President, His Excellency Brigadier Granger, met with Lionel Prasad and Peter Assing from the Gideon International Organization, who presented him with a Bible. This is an evangelical Christian association whose primary activity is distributing copies of the Bible across the globe. The President was also paid a courtesy call by the Director and members of the Transparency Institute of Guyana Incorporated, where the discussions were centered on the incidents of corruption within state agencies. Minister of Social Cohesion, Ms. Amna Ali, was also part of that meeting.
This was a meeting that we had requested some time ago, the Transparency Institute Guyana Inc. It was intended partly as a courtesy meeting, but we raised a number of issues with the President. It was a very open and very cordial discussion on a wide range of subtopics, including corruption, of course, on the ranking of Guyana in the Corruption Perception Index, which is something we are very concerned about because it has such implications for the investment. But we talked about corruption in the public service. We talked about some of the legislation, the Police Complaints Authority. The President expressed his own views on the Public Service College, which he thinks is going to go some way in dealing with the issue of corruption in the public service, because he did make the point that you need two persons, and he was pointing out issues of police and various levels and arms of the government, state agencies, where corruption is found to be very widespread.
Recognizing the importance of the issue of corruption, the President committed to facilitating another meeting with the organization, during which Minister of Governance Raphael Trotman and the Attorney General Basil Williams will be present. The Institute has a mandate to educate the public and raise awareness of the many faces of corruption, its causes and consequences on national development. That brings us to the end of this edition of This Week with the President. Thank you for joining me. For regular updates on the Ministry of the Presidency, go to our website www.motp.gov.gy. Like our Facebook page, Ministry of the Presidency, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MOTP Guyana. I'm Janelle Carter. Do have a safe and productive week ahead. Goodbye for now.